You guys won't believe this, but today is the day we're launching our new hand-polished cast iron skillet. Whoa. A little over 7 months ago we launched this, the PitmasterX hand-polished cast iron skillet. And it all started with a lifelong dream of mine of actually owning a hand-polished cast iron pan. Personally, I found the prices of hand-polished cast iron pans were a little bit out of my range. So when the windmill reached out to me and asked me to work together on a hand-polished cast iron pan, there was only one answer. And this is the proud result of the PitmasterX hand-polished cast iron pan. And apparently I wasn't the only one who needed a hand-polished cast iron pan for an acceptable price, because we sold lots of them worldwide. US, Canada, Mexico, Africa, Greece, they went everywhere. But we've gotten some requests. Can't you do a cast iron pan with two handles, which will make it easier to center inside a barbecue, and it will make it more likely to fit your oven, while at the same time keeping that family size surface, because this will easily hold 4 or 5 portions of meat for your family. So that's why I'm so super excited to present to you the X002 version of the PitmasterX cast iron pan. And this is the PitmasterX cast iron pan that I've been cooking on for the past 1.5 years. I've been using it over open fire, on the barbecue, on the kitchen stove, in the oven. And now it looks like this. This is not your typical cast iron patina, because you're not actually building up a seasoning. This is still the smooth surface from hand polishing. And all I did was build up a patina while cooking with the pan. And as you can see, it still has that mirror-like finish. Now the funny thing is that most people don't know, but cast iron pans back in the 1800s all were hand polished. At some point they just decided it was cheaper not to polish them anymore, and then most people lost interest and started using other pans, and eventually switched to non-stick pans, which is like, well, you can do the research on non-stick pans yourself. All I'm gonna do is show you how this thing works. I'm just gonna put it on my little stove and give it about a minute to come up to temperature. A little side note, if you have an induction kitchen and it goes from 1 to 9, I recommend setting it to about 7 and giving it a little bit of time to warm up. Because if you go too fast, this thing will heat up extremely well. And then you end up with a really hot pan on your stove. And that's not really necessary. You need it to be warm, so the butter starts melting like this. And now I'm gonna put in an egg. There we go. I'm going to give it about 30 seconds to build up a crust at the bottom. And as you can see, it starts slipping around already. Now let's do a flip. There we go. We only have a light golden brown color in it, but it just goes to show how well it cooks. And since I have these in my kitchen, I've never gone back to traditional cast iron. It is just absolutely perfect. Let's see how this compares to our new cast iron pan. See if we can do the exact same thing with a brand new one. I'm going to put it over the fire, same temperature, going to give it a little bit of time, wait until I can feel the radiation heat in the pan, and then I'm going to add a little bit of butter again. I'm going to let this melt, and I'm going to use a piece of paper towel and rub this in. Now I'm going to put in a little bit of fresh butter. Once again, there we go. In goes an egg, and immediately it starts to bubble up. And once I see the bubbles underneath the whole egg, I know it is good to swirl around the pan. Let's check it to see if it's letting go. There we go. Look at that. Smooth as butter. I think this tells you enough about hand-polished cast iron. You cannot do this on this level with a regular cast iron pan, and most definitely not straight out of the box. After I'm done cooking, I'm going to shut off the gas, take a piece of paper towel, go through the pan, clean it up, just like that, and you're good to go for your next cooking session. If you want, you can just clean this with a little bit of water, some soap. You can even use a scrubbing pad to clean it off properly. And the reason that you can do that and not in a traditional cast iron pan is because there's no layer of seasoning at the bottom. So you don't have to worry about washing that away and having to re-season your pan. And that is also the reason why you can put acidic things in a cast iron pan that have been hand polished. Normally if you put acidic food in your cast iron pan, like a little tomato puree, it's going to burn into the seasoning. And it's going to break down that non-stick layer that you've carefully built up over time. But not with hand polished pans, because there's none. If you want to know more about our new PitmasterX hand polished cast iron pan, then go check out our website, the link's down below. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Leave me a comment down below. See you in the next one. Until then, eet smakelijk and keep on grilling.